flavour of what we can expect from you performing there. You've just got back from Japan. How was it over there for you?
It was hot. It was great. It went really well. We played at a place called the Fuji Festival. Did a couple of shows there, which is up in the mountains and sort of outside Tokyo. And then we did some club shows around the country, which was fun.
Yeah, we got typhooned at the Fuji Festival.
We got typhoon there. And we nearly got typhoon coming back. Yeah. We missed a typhoon. We had to fly to this little island called Kumamoto, and there was a typhoon coming in. I didn't tell the other guys, we just missed it, but all the flights got cancelled the next day.
Yeah, our bass player is a little nervous about flying.
Yeah.
How did you two come to play together?
Conflicting stories. There's another Brit friend of mine, British, excuse me. Missing words. A fashion designer named Keenan Duffy, and we became friends. And somehow, he actually writes music and sings and all this. I mean, his mainstay is he's a great fashion designer. But anyway, we got together and we did some recording, and then Glen takes it from here because he thinks he knows what happens next.
Well, Keenan called me. He'd done some clothes for the Pistols. He just gave us loads of stuff. And I sort of made a contact with him because he used to be at St Martin's Art College as I was, although I'm 10 years older than him. But he called me up and he said, I've put some stuff up online and this guy's contacted me who wants to do something with me.
This guy.
Well, I said, who's this guy? He said, I don't know what to do. I said, who's this guy? And he said, well, Earl Slick. I said, well, do it, you silly sausage. And he said, would you play bass on it? And I said, well, yeah, send me the files over. And then he called me a couple of days later, and he said he's friends with Clem Burke as well. He said, Clem said he'd play drums in it. I said, well, I'll tell you what, if Clem's going to do it and Earl's going to do it, book a studio and I'll come over to the States. And that's what we did. And that's how we ended up at the clubhouse. Yeah. And that's the first time I can remember meeting you.
That's the first time I remember meeting you.
Yeah, so there must be some kind of truth in that. Anyway, we kind of hit it off to a certain kind of level. And when I was doing the album I've got out at the moment called Good to Go, another friend of ours, a mutual friend, is a guy called Slim Jim Phantom. And I asked Slim if he'd be up for playing drums on it. And he said, yeah, I'd love to. And he had ideas for a guitarist. And he said, well, how about Earl Slick? Now, I didn't know that they knew each other, and I didn't even know that you'd had a band together in the 80s. So everything just kind of slotted into place. We made the album a few years back now. It came out about 9 months ago, and we've been doing some shows.
Well, the audiences here, to me, and you know, the grass is always greener, they seem a bit more enthusiastic than they do on my side of the pond. So I enjoy it, yeah, because of that. It's good.
How have you seen the music industry change throughout your careers?
Oh, I don't know.
That's a whole show.
Yeah, a whole lot. The more I know about it, the less I know about it. That's what I find.
Well, I don't know. That's a very
big topic.
Yes, it is. One of the biggest things is playing live. You don't see a lot of new bands playing live for a number of reasons. First of all, nobody wants to pay them, so that doesn't help. But also, I think because they've created these bands in the cyber. In a bumble, on their computer, and they can do that and program it and do all these sounds, but as far as being in a room with other people, they don't seem to be terribly interested. And to me, especially for a rock and roll band, if you don't play live, you ain't a rock and roll band. You can't be a rock and roll band in a Mac.
It's not jazz, but there's a jazz element to it. Each time you play the same song with the same set of chords, it just comes out different. You know, and if you don't mind going with that, and there's a certain level of musicianship and playing, it's cool. It's the same but different. So it's always kind of fresh, I think, no?
Yeah.
Sometimes we even get it right. Sometimes.
It only took me a year to figure some of them out. But then again, that's the beauty of it, is because I don't work well in a perfectionist environment. So, like he said, jazz, you know. I mean, it depends what mood you're in when you're playing, you know. I may play completely differently from night to night, inside the structure of the song, but, you know, the mood is what's going to dictate it. You know, if you got an audience that's really rambunctious, I'll tend to play more aggressively. If we got an audience that's half asleep, I may tend to lay back a little bit, you know. That's what makes it good, because you don't know what's going to happen every night, you know, as opposed to a computer, which you know what it's going to do. You don't know what we're going to do.
And Glenn, you brought out your album last year. Have you any more new music on the way?
Yeah,
Still-
I've been writing quite
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. I think I've got about half an album's worth of stuff now that I'm pleased with. Not recorded, but just demoed.
Yeah.
And I've got some more ideas, but also Slick's got some ideas. And we've got these 2 more shows, which was Balcombe Victory Club tomorrow night and the 229, the venue in Great Portland Street. Little break before we do the Kenny Jones's thing, but we're going to go through some ideas that he's got and see what we got. So the idea now is finish this up and then maybe start working towards a new record that will come out next year sometime. No mad rush, no deadline, but might as well.
Like everything else, no mad rush, no deadline.
Absolutely. And what's your process when it comes to writing?
What's the process?
Is there a process?
There is or there isn't. You know, sometimes songs write themselves. You're just sitting there and you just, all of a sudden it's there. And then there's the times where you have to write something and you sit there for hours and hours and days waiting for that to happen. And sometimes it doesn't happen and you got to walk away and come back later. You know, the process really is channeling the stuff out of thin air for me.
I find the best songs I write, or not the easiest way, but the most likely it's going to happen, is you're just walking down the street, you see something, it sets your mind going, and you get an idea. And I don't rush home to kind of put it down, but it's when that idea doesn't go away and keeps coming back to you, that's when you know you got something.
Actually, that is the process there, because if I have a lick in my head and I play it, I leave it alone, and it keeps coming back at me, then I'll take it from there.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just disappear, in which case it was probably crap. So.
Yeah, I always feel that if you got an idea that you can't remember and you're trying to write catchy pop songs of some, if you can't remember, how do you expect anybody else to?
It's true.
So.
Now, of course, aside from performing together, you spent many years performing alongside David Bowie. What was he like to perform with?
Same thing. He appeared to be structured, and he was to a point, but not really. I mean, I can't be corralled or structured, so that's why I was there. I was the element of...
The loose cannon.
The loose cannon guy, you know, and, you know, not because I sit around thinking about being a loose cannon. I don't know how to do anything by the numbers. I'm the guy who puts together the kids' bicycle for Christmas, and they have all these extra bits going, wow, they gave me spares.
Yeah.
So,
something not quite right.
No, that's not quite right.
And finally, what can we expect to see from a show from you guys?
Well, I think it's exciting. I think there's some food for thought. We're not shoegazers. We've been doing it long enough to know how to put on a show. We just got back from Japan and the gigs were pretty rocking there, so we kind of know what we're doing enough to get on with it. The band's great. Everybody sort of locks together well.
We have fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, we're not po-faced shoegazers. But it's not inane, stupid fun. It's sort of serious fun, I like to call it.
No, we have fun.
And he's got a better selection of shirts than he's dug out today.
All of them will be on display in the coming days here in
I'll
London.
change them song to song.
An array. Glen Earl, thank you so much for coming in. It's been lovely to chat with you. Let's tell people where they can see you here in London.
229 Club.
The show is going to be on at the 229 Club on Saturday.